So thank you for tuning in. If you're watching this, you have either recently heard about a new company called Virta, which has been making some statements regarding their ability to reverse type 2 diabetes or pre-diabetes. So I kind of want to touch on that. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because one of my attendings requested that I do a small presentation regarding this company, and this new treatment modality in regards to type 2 diabetes. So the first things I'm going to want to go into are what type 2 diabetes is, if you're not familiar with this, then jumping into what treatments we use currently, and then how Virta is going to be trying to upset the normal treatment modalities that are currently used to treat this. So type 2 diabetes is caused by a decreased sensitivity to insulin. So your body has been having a high level of carbohydrate, specifically glucose, in the blood, and due to this factor, it's been requiring these insulin molecules in order to bind so that they can draw in glucose from the blood and into your cells, which you need for energy. If there's like high levels of glucose in the blood for a long period of time, the insulin kind of gets immune, more or less, or desensitized. So your body needs to make more insulin in order to draw in the glucose. It's kind of like when you're getting used to like a certain level of like warm water in the shower, and after a while you get used to it. You have to bump it up a little bit higher to warmer water. Well, eventually you can't get any more hotter water, so at that point you're just be more and more desensitized. So what we have right now is there's a burnout of our beta cells, which are in our pancreas, that are used to secrete this insulin. And what we're doing is, over a long period of time, those cells burn out, we can't make insulin, so we have to use medications currently in order to assist in this process, either giving ourselves like actual units of insulin via injection, or giving drugs that assist in this process. So these are sulfonylureas or glipizide and stuff like this. But kind of jumping back to what we use now, so currently if someone's type 2 diabetes, they're usually being assisted with insulin. And like there's a really quick mnemonic, and I'll just like put it up right here. But the fast way I learned was weight in kilograms times 0.5 if you're aggressive. That's the total number of units of insulin needed. And then you're going to split that in half. And the 1/2 goes to nighttime insulin. So it's going to be something you're going to take overnight, like a glargine or something. And you are going to use the other half for daytime insulin for units. And those units are going to split up into 3s, but take 4 meals. So it's kind of like a step down mnemonic, kind of like that, or like a step down diagram. Anyways, what's Virta doing? So Virta has had some recent publications in different journals, and they have been showing that their method has been able to reduce or reverse type 2 diabetes in the sense where you don't need as much insulin anymore. So they've actually been able to take patients who've had type 2 diabetes, and over a 10-week period during this one study, they've been able to take them off almost all of their medications with the exception of metformin, which not super important for this, but metformin is a different type of drug also used to assist with diabetic patients. But they've been able to take all these medications off of these patients and also have a reduction in their A1C level. So hemoglobin A1C level, this is a number thrown around a lot. Hemoglobin A1C refers to the glycosylation of your hemoglobin molecules on like blood, kind of. And what happens is it's a snapshot over a 90-day period, which is the life cycle of a blood cell, unless you're sickle cell disease or something, but life cycle of a blood cell. And what you're looking at is how often the protein is glycosylated. And it's more glycosylated if you have more glucose constantly running around in your blood. And this is very common if you have type 2 diabetes. So you look at your A1C levels, and I think the test was like 7.6% down to 6.6%. So they showed a 1% decrease in hemoglobin A1C over a 10-week period, which is kind of crazy to think about because it's not even like the full life cycle of a blood cell. But it's like they should have used like 90 days, and like they only use 70 days, but they show a sort of reduction, which is kind of actually pretty cool. And they're able to reduce all the drugs. How Virta works, which is what probably the video is about. So Virta uses the approach by using a term called nutritional ketosis. What is this? Nutritional ketosis is when you specifically modulate the food intake for your body so that now it is only going to be fats and proteins, and you're going to drastically reduce the number of carbohydrates. It is like a very it's paleo-esque kind of diet, but it really is focusing on this aspect because if you don't have any carbohydrates, you can't break them down into glucose. Glucose doesn't saturate the blood. Proteins and fats go through different mechanisms of beta oxidation in order to utilize as energy. So it's not presented the exact same way in the blood, but your body can still use it as energy. So because of that, you're not able to require as many units of insulin as well as other drugs. So this is kind of cool. But in addition to that, they have some life coaching techniques and some follow-up appointments, and they give the glucometer readings for free to people and send them so that they're able to check their blood glucose levels. So it's a very aggressive process in order to make sure that the person is maintaining their diet in order to reduce the amount of drugs that are required for their type 2 diabetes or pre-diabetes. So that's what I said during my small little spiel. And then I kind of wanted to go into this is not the solution, or potentially there are some downside effects, and we should not be super excited about this drug or this new treatment type coming into the market, and now the whole game has changed. I don't know how everyone's going to react to it, but there are a few things that we need to look out for. And a lot of the videos I've seen are only either by Virta or by scientists that are in the TED Talk in Purdue, where the person actually was associated with a nutritional lab that was doing the same research. So I kind of want to be a third-party thing showing what I thought about Virta and kind of jumping forward to that. So there's two main downsides that I saw to Virta immediately, and maybe that might be more in the future, but two immediately. The first one, Virta is not cheap. It usually can go through company insurance, like health insurances, and that's one mechanism. It will cost the insurance company around $5,000 in order to have these patients enrolled in their Virta program. But the cost benefit for the company is that the company now saved net $5,000 because it costs $10,000 a year to manage someone with diabetes, like medications, follow-ups, blood draws, stuff like this. Not to mention the increased disease state. So it's pretty expensive, but if you're working for a large company like Home Depot or something like this, you might be able to get covered through the health insurance that's offered by the company. Now, if you're working in an outpatient setting, or if you're working in an office where you're only accepting Medicare, Medicaid, that's not available through those two programs. So how would you be able to get access to this Virta, this new medication, this new treatment modality not requiring all these medications? Okay, well, if you want to pay out of pocket, I think its initiation was $500, and each year after that was $400. So you're looking at $100 for the first year, and then continuing that forward, you need a year subscription for $400, and that is giving you access to their nutritional team. That's giving you access to life coaches that come through video feeds. So it's not super cheap, and that's one of the drawbacks, because the patients that I'm seeing in my office, they don't have enough money for they're cutting pills in order to stretch out medications. These are not certain people that are going to be super likely to be able to drop this amount of money. They're using public transportation. They have different financial deficits or responsibilities, and that's making it more difficult for them. If you have these people in San Francisco, or the study was done I think in Indiana, sure, maybe they have a lot more money there, but certain people, majority of people with type 2 diabetes probably don't have as much money, so that's one of the drawbacks we need to look at. Second thing, when you are on a high protein diet, such as this one that Virta is recommending, it's been linked to, numerous studies have been shown that it's been linked to atherosclerosis. So you have accelerated atherosclerosis in the presence of this high protein, high fat diets. So while type 2 diabetes and all the insulin resistance also causes these effects and you're reducing them, the diet is not necessarily benign, so it doesn't cause any downside effects. So the studies should be really followed in these patients where if they're able to maintain this very strict diet, which they should be able to if the videos work, there can be still health issues regarding their diet. And that needs to be addressed a little bit more and kind of studied. And Virta, from what I saw on their website, did not really address this that much. But it'll be interesting to kind of see in those populations that are using the Virta program, do they have long-term effects regarding their atherosclerosis? So there's just like 2 points I kind of wanted to bring up regarding Virta. I hope this video was slightly informative and gave you a little bit more information about what this program is so that you can either talk to your provider or physician or family friend about how you want to move forward. Thanks.